Just a giant maze and a group of boys forced to survive inside it. This is the full story of the Maze Runner. From the moment Thomas opens his eyes to the shocking truth behind the maze, the movie begins in total darkness. A teenage boy suddenly wakes up, breathing heavily, panicking. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know where he is. His mind is completely blank. He's inside a small metal elevator. As it rises, he hears voices shouting from above. The doors open and hands pull him out into blinding sunlight. The boys surrounding him ask the same question they ask everyone who arrives. What's your name? After struggling to remember anything at all, the boy finally speaks. Thomas. That's the only thing he knows. Thomas quickly learns he's in a place called the Glade, a massive grassy area completely surrounded by towering stone walls. These walls aren't normal. Every morning they open, revealing entrances into a gigantic maze. Every night they close, sealing everyone inside the Glade. Inside the maze live deadly mechanical creatures called grievers. Anyone trapped in the maze after dark is almost guaranteed to die. The boys explain that they all arrived the same way. One boy every month sent up in the box with no memories. Over time, they created a society. Runners map the maze. Builders construct shelters. Farmers grow food. Leaders enforce rules. One rule matters more than any other. Never enter the maze unless you are a runner, and never, ever stay inside after the doors close. Thomas struggles to adjust. Unlike the others, he feels drawn to the maze. He constantly asks questions no one wants to answer. Why were they sent here? Who built the maze? Why erase their memories? This puts him at odds with Glade, a tough boy who believes survival depends on obedience, not curiosity. But Thomas can't ignore the feeling that the maze recognizes him. One day, a runner named Ben is attacked by a griever and stung with venom. The venom drives him insane. The leaders decide he's too dangerous to keep alive. Ben is exiled into the maze. Thomas watches helplessly as the doors close behind him. Later that same day, two runners, Albie and Minho, enter the maze to rescue Ben. But the maze shifts. Albie is injured. Minho barely escapes, and for the first time ever, someone is trapped inside the maze after dark. Without thinking, Thomas runs into the maze. The doors slam shut behind him. Inside the maze at night, everything changes. The walls move, the paths rearrange, and the grievers come out. Thomas helps Minho hide Albie and survive the night using nothing but instincts. Against all odds, they survive. When morning comes, the doors open again. Thomas is dragged back into the Glade, but instead of praise, he's punished. The rules exist for a reason, but the maze is already reacting to him. The next day, the box rises again. This time, it brings something never seen before. A girl. Her name is Teresa. She arrives unconscious, clutching a note that reads, "She's the last one. Everything is going to change." Soon after Teresa arrives, the box stops coming entirely. No more supplies, no more people. The maze begins closing earlier every night, and the grievers attack more aggressively than ever. Thomas discovers that griever venom temporarily restores memories. When Albie recovers, he remembers something terrifying. They were chosen. The maze is a test. Thomas and Teresa begin experiencing shared memories, visions of scientists watching them. One name keeps appearing: WCKD. The maze is not random. It's a puzzle. With food running out and deaths increasing, Thomas convinces the group to make one final attempt to escape. Using patterns and numbers hidden in the maze, they locate what appears to be an exit. They arm themselves and run into the maze together. One by one, the grievers kill them. Then tragedy strikes. Gally, driven insane by venom, shoots Chuck, the youngest boy. Chuck dies in Thomas's arms. Gally is killed moments later. The survivors reach the exit and enter a hidden underground facility. Inside, they discover the truth. The world outside has been destroyed. Solar flares burned the planet. A deadly virus called the Flare wiped out most of humanity. The boys are immune. They were placed in the maze to study their brains under extreme stress. As they escape, Thomas sees something terrifying. The maze was never meant to be survived. It was only phase 1. Thomas and the survivors finally escape the maze, but the truth hits hard. They were part of an experiment. The walls are behind them, but bigger challenges await outside. Freedom isn't just leaving the maze. It's facing the world and choosing what to do next. What would you risk to survive and to save others?